from Toyama Prefecture, Japan. Welcome to the GCN Show.
Welcome to the GCN Show.
Coming up this week, can a bike be too good for its owner? Can it be too fast for you?
We've also got an ass-saving chamois, a pro footballer set to rip up the gravel world, how cycling is now officially cool, and a corrections corner from me.
Humble pie.
This week, in the world of cycling, we learned that a new type of indoor cycling might be on the rise after the world's longest tunnel for bikes has been opened in Norway.
At 2.9 kilometres, it is plenty long enough for bike rides on bad weather days, so you can stay warm and dry without the expense of an indoor trainer. The only issue that we can see is that because it's underground, you'll not get anything to upload to Strava afterwards.
So is it worth riding it at all?
Does it even exist?
Question. We also learned just how weird the cycling world is after top male pro Primož Roglic dominated the headlines for a full 24 hours for not shaving his legs.
What? Now, it does go to show that shaving your legs is not essential for cycling success.
If you've got the leg side, then you don't need to shave them. And I think Primož Roglic proved that last week.
He's got the legs. Right, now it is funny though, because for a lot of male cyclists, shaving your legs is still a sign of being serious or like knowing what you're doing, isn't it?
Yeah, so female cyclists, count yourselves lucky that you do not face this particular taboo.
No, but this issue of looking like you know what you're doing and indeed knowing what you're doing reared its head the other day, right? So I got a message on Instagram from a guy called Callum saying that he has just bought a brand new Canyon and is wondering if a bike can be too fast for its owner or just too good for its owner in general.
Crikey, what a question. That's a big subject right there, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. Now, I'm not saying that you have to shave your legs in order to buy a nice bike, let's put it that way. But there is a sense, isn't there, that you should know what you're doing in order to justify having a nice bike.
Well, one of the best bits about cycling is that the equipment used by the best riders in the entire world, the fastest, is available for all of us to use if you have enough money to purchase it in the first place. Because unfortunately, that tech is definitely not cheap. And as we mentioned on last week's GCN show, the fact is that it is getting ever more expensive as the years go on.
Even if you don't buy yourself socks down. Yeah, so to get those bikes, you will need plenty of cash. So does that mean that you deserve your bike if you're minted?
Yes, I would say.
Really?
As a generalisation, I'd say so, yes. That's what money is for, isn't it? If you manage to make that much. If I had more spare money, I would buy myself a better car.
What's wrong with your Skoda?
Not a lot, really. I mean, the reverse sensors have recently stopped working. They make an awful sound now. It's not in relation to where you are. It's now got 130,000 miles on the clock, but it does the job, really. That's sort of my point. I don't need a better car. I'm not pining after a better car, but if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would buy a slightly more luxurious and newer car than I have at the moment, even though I'm not quite as good at driving as Lewis Hamilton.
Not quite
No,
as
not
good.
far,
No.
not quite.
He's probably been called a prick when driving as well, though, hasn't he? So you don't need to worry about that. Anyway, I do just feel like there is a certain additional snobbery around cycling, isn't it? Because you can see someone's ability or lack of, and you know, if a newbie like rocks up to a bike ride on a 15k superbike with a massive, you know, beer gut and a rear view mirror attached to their helmet, you know, like you shouldn't judge them, but they would probably get a few looks, wouldn't they?
That's the problem though, isn't it? Biking snobbery. I mean, I don't look at someone with a flash car and think to myself, actually, I probably do think stuff to myself.
I do. I kind of always think that flash cars are wasted on old people. I might change my tune when I'm your age, but right now I kind of feel like that. But I have a feeling that that kind of judgment is like innate. It's just nature, isn't it? Maybe not in all of us, but in a lot of us. And in cycling as well, it works at the other end of the spectrum with younger riders as well. I vividly remember a time when I was about 14 years old. I'd got good enough results that I was sponsored, so I had a really flash bike. And I remember one day outside a bike shop, I was turned up to, I don't know, buy an inner tube or something, and there were two guys, must be in their 20s, maybe 30s, I don't know, everyone looks the same age when you're 14. And I could see they were clearly talking about me being a spoilt kid riding a flash bike.
Wow. If they saw you now, they'd just say you're spoiled, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Take the kid part out.
Well, I mean, I am spoiled. Although, I don't think you'd find many more people who appreciate their luck than me.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. Anyway, judging people for riding posh bikes isn't cool. It's understandable, but not cool.
Although, if that bike hasn't been cleaned in 6 months and looks like a rusty gate and sounds like a cutlery drawer when being opened, then judge away.
Yeah.
I would say, if you haven't looked after a very expensive bike. Fundamentally, no matter how much money you have, you've got to appreciate what you do have in order to not look like a prat.
Yeah. Okay, that is very true. Although, can you assess if someone appreciates something just by looking at them? Like, I mean, you know, can you see that that person appreciates their Colnago, for example?
Tom Bonan.
Well, yeah, he certainly wouldn't deserve a Colnago, would he? Now, if we come back to that question of a bike being too fast for its owner, there is a possibility of that, and I'm not talking about e-bikes, but position.
Well, yeah, that is very true, isn't it? Fast bikes typically have a very low and aggressive riding position, don't they, to make you more aero and therefore faster, and also to help experienced regular riders, let's say, get into a more efficient position on the bike. But if you're not used to that position, and if you are not flexible enough, or maybe if you're a bit too old, you're going to get crippled, aren't you?
Yeah.
I find it now.
Also, the handling is razor sharp to a pro, and then just nervous and twitchy to anyone less experienced. We saw that, didn't we, with our colleague Harriet?
Horrible way.
Going back to your car analogy, though, it'd be a little bit like buying a Lamborghini to commute in, wouldn't it? Like, you know, you'd get out at work with a sore back and a sore ass from the track day tuned suspension, and then you potentially just wrap it around a tree on the way home because you can't handle the power and the handling.
I think that's a good point. There is a way around this, I reckon. If you worry that your bike is going to be too fast for you, you can just buy a gravel bike now, can't you?
That is actually an excellent idea, because no one looks slow on a posh gravel bike.
No.
Plus, there are so many accessories available to gravel riders. You can spend all the money you want. No one needs to shave their legs. You don't even need to wear Lycra. In fact, you can actually pay a premium, spend more money on buying cycling kit that's not Lycra and doesn't look like cycling clothing.
Or, if you're me, an e-bike with relaxed geometry. That would be heaven.
Yeah,
great you don't have to share your legs though, isn't it?
No, that's true. Although you do have to watch out on e-bikes with relaxed geometry, because sometimes your ankles might break, mightn't they?
Good
when
point,
you're riding.
Good point, well made.
Yeah, now,
by me.
as we said, it is understandable to feel envious of someone with a posh bike. And I think it's understandable to feel angry if you can see that person doesn't appreciate it. But the thing to remember, if you're fast or you're good on a cheap bike, everyone knows that you'd be even better than you really are. So you do still get the kudos you deserve, I think.
Yeah, and if you're slow on a fast bike, you're still not as slow as you would otherwise be, so you're still getting the benefit for it.
Absolutely. Now, let us know what you think about this at home. I imagine this is going to be a contentious issue, this one. So have you ever been envious of someone with a better bike? I think we all have, haven't we? Or felt that they don't deserve it?
Or do you think that you'd do exactly the same thing if you were in their situation with enough spare cash? As ever, let us know in the comments section down below.
Yeah. Also, let us know if you drive to work in a Lamborghini. Do you have a sore back?
Hack/Bodge of the week now. We have got a belter to kick us off this
we do,
time
don't
around.
we? Yeah.
From windsurfing pool, quick link removal using thin rope, which I think is otherwise known as string. Is that?
No. That's no ordinary string. That is thin rope.
I just thought it was coloured string.
No, I reckon it's a windsurfing
Well, we'll go with
thing.
thin rope then. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Did not have the correct tools, so used some thin rope and snub nose pliers, and with a twist, it was done. So simple.
There you go. It's one of those frustrating things, like quick links, which make joining a chain incredibly easy. Sometimes they can actually be a little bit fiddly to undo, can't they? So there you go. All you need is some snub-nosed pliers, and some special thin rope. I've seen this done actually before with a little bit of wire as well. So that works too. But yeah, I like that. I'd say hack.
I'm going to say hack, and 87% of you voted that one at hack.
Ooh, nice work. Hey, so that was a good one to kick things off.
Yeah, it's downhill from there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, next up, Stoic. The perfect place to store your bike. The bike spot here at home was compromised, so I decided to find a better place for them. Comfortable, safe, and zero danger of falls or scratches. What do you think? Wow. I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, they're not going anywhere from there, are they?
No, they're not going to get scratched with a duvet, a mattress, and a couple of pillows, that's for sure. But I'm not sure whether the duvet, mattress, and couple of pillows will come out unscathed.
No, that's it.
But they are cheaper than a bike.
Also, if you're having to sleep on a sofa, like, you're going to feel probably worse sleeping on a sofa than your bike would. So I'd stick the bike on the sofa.
You often have to sleep on the sofa. Well, moving on.
I'm going to say Bodge.
I'm going to say Bodge as well, although 57% went with hack.
Wow.
Strangely for that.
Maybe
one.
they've got spare rooms.
Maybe, yes.
Maybe they've got spare rooms. Right.
Dan Loden93 put simple but effective. Bought some mudguards for my gravel bike, but not fully compatible. Not exactly colour matched, but nearly 6 months later, they're holding out strong.
That is revolting.
Why could you not get black ones?
Well, also, like, there must be I appreciate they're still going strong after 6 months, right? But you've got to look at your bike every time you get on it, and you look at that, you know?
Well,
like,
not for long, unless you're constantly looking round.
No, but even just like every day when you get on it, you just be like, oh God, I've got to do something about those crappy zip ties. Green zip ties. I mean, there must be a neater solution, even if it's like, I don't know what the neater solution is.
It might be an ingenious way of getting more shelter from other riders who can't bear to sit behind you and look at a couple of green zip ties holding a mudguard up.
Oh, just, yeah, you know, like fair play. You buy your new mudguards, you want to get them set up, you stick some zip ties on, and then a couple of weeks later you go, right, I need to, you sort it out properly. But 6 months, come on. That's a massive bodge.
Duration coming into play once again for Si.
Yeah.
I'll go hack just to be in with the majority.
Yeah.
6%.
We're slowly honing in on what a hack and a bodge is.
Yeah, give us another 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Right then, we've got this one from iPerno. Bike transport, spared no expense. Yeah, I tell you what, that is a really good way of safely securing your bike, isn't it? Buy a truck and remove the trailer, and there you go.
Yeah.
It wouldn't get covered in flies or anything there, would it?
No, don't know what to make of that really. It's just a bike on a truck. I'll say bodge.
Well, no, but you know what I was thinking, right? Obviously, like trucks, lorries are very dangerous vehicles, aren't they? And you want them to be driven by someone that knows what they're doing, but also you want them ideally to be driven by someone that's aware of bikes. So if that bike is owned by the person driving the truck, then happy days. Yeah. That's what you want, isn't it? Bet you get a wide berth.
So you're giving it a hack?
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe that's why 83% of people did vote that one.
Ooh.
A hack.
Yeah, okay.
Finally this week, Chris Jewell put TV remote storage, simple but effective fix. Having nowhere to store our TV /Sky/fan remotes and phones while on the turbo. My wife suggested using the free bag we got from Canyon, which works a treat, easy to access while riding and free of charge. Winner, winner.
There's something, maybe it's just from like, you know, years spent in racing where the idea of getting a musette, which is what that free bag from Canyon is, tangled up in your handlebars, and even worse, getting tangled up not just your handlebars, someone else's as well. That gives me the heebie-jeebies, that picture. Yeah, I couldn't do that.
I can't help but notice how neat everything is about that picture, if I'm perfectly honest. I mean, it's minimalist, but very tidy, very smart, isn't it? Presumably
then it's really doing your nutting that they're both riding BMCs and the bag is a Canyon one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not too over the top with that sort of stuff.
Not judgy.
I mean, partly because I also love free stuff. And so the fact that the Canyon Musette was free, already for me is a hack.
Yeah, okay.
I'd imagine it's quite handy though, isn't it? I think I'd get annoyed though with the strap of the Musette around the hood.
Oh yeah, I think it's a bodge for me.
Yep.
Like honestly, I just can't get over the fear of getting a musette tangled around your handlebars. So yeah, I'm not feeling that, I'm sorry.
Well, I forgot to look at how many voted hack versus bodge on that particular one.
Safe to say it was a massive bodge. Yeah.
Right, that's all for this week. Don't forget to get voting and get uploading on the GCN app with your hacks and bodges.
And now it's time for cycling shorts.
We'll start cycling shorts with news of ripped cycling shorts this week.
We will. This is Wout van Aert and Tom Pidcock hitting the deck at Tirreno last week, in which Pidcock said that his chamois saved his arse.
Yeah, shame you didn't have a chamois wrapped around your ankle, isn't it, Dan?
Oh,
When you crashed.
Is that what you've got permanently wrapped around your ankles? Is it, Si?
Touche. Anyway, it was nice to see the sportsmanship, wasn't it, from Van Aert, actually, admitting fault and checking that Pidcock was okay. I thought that was cool.
That was nice to watch, wasn't it? And actually, we had the same thing at Paris-Nice, the race that runs concurrently in France. Thomas de Gent there admitting fault for a crash and later apologising on social media to the riders that he crashed with him.
Yeah, that's what we want to see, isn't it? Like,
I think so, yeah.
People say, I'm really sorry, I made a mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we said that the other week about driving. You probably presumably apologised to that person for shouting that you're a prick.
I would have done, but he was still shouting at me, and I don't know if he heard what I said. Anyway.
Have you apologised to yourself for breaking your ankle, by the way?
I probably should do, shouldn't I? I see what you're saying there, that it was entirely my fault that I broke my ankle.
To be fair, I think you can blame your undersized ankles, frankly.
Yeah.
They were at fault, aren't they?
Well, I'm very pleased that the broken ankle is now of similar size to what it was before.
Right, really?
I was told that it would be forever bigger. It's still a little bit bigger than the other one, but it's getting there.
It's not as big as mine yet.
No.
No, okay, well, there you go. Right then, should we move on?
Yep, probably about time.
Yeah, okay, to a couple of stories, actually, that I saw on the GCN app, okay? So first, it's not just pro road riders crossing over to gravel, it's also, this blew me away, pro footballers.
Yeah. It is bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought that when you showed me this morning. Apparently, ex-Barcelona star Bojan Kric, how do you say it?
Oh.
Well, I'll go with that. Kric. Such a fan of gravel riding that he's got his own brand called Guava Bikes and is contemplating racing gravel full time.
Yeah.
What do you think about Guava's marketing blurb? So it says, this bike is for great moments because life is too short for boring bikes.
It's not too bad, is it?
Despite my best efforts.
Yeah.
I'm not actually sure what a boring bike constitutes, though, personally.
No, very good question, that. Some people think that black bikes are boring, and I disagree. They're endlessly exciting and cool. But anyway, each their own.
Well, Canyon have actually thrown their hat into the ring as well. The very cool special edition Grizzle gravel bike.
That's right. This one's exciting. No questions there. It's called the Grizzle CF7 Throwback with its silver rims, bright paint job, and tan wall tyres. They say it pays homage to the mountain bikes of the early 90s. A similarity, actually, between gravel and retro mountain biking that any old person out there will appreciate, and that is precisely why gravel bikes are so great.
You know what? One of the favourite videos of mine that we did together, Si, was the one that was called Gravel Bikes Exist Because Mountain Bikes Are Now Boring.
I remember it.
If you haven't watched it at home, do make sure you take a look. We'll put a link in the description down below.
Copped quite a lot of grief from mountain bikers for that one, didn't we?
Did we, yeah.
Unpopular opinions.
That was the intention, though, really, wasn't it? Just to offend them.
Well, yeah, also, I think they're only really offended because they knew that we were speaking the truth. Yeah. Anyway, the Tour de France, moving on now swiftly, has officially confirmed that the finale of next year's race will be in Nice as opposed to the deeply traditional location of Paris owing to the Olympics.
Yeah, interesting this one. I mean, I love a bit of tradition in cycling,
Yeah.
but this does look cool in my opinion. Gone is the parade on the Champs-Élysées, and instead there's a 35k time trial that includes the iconic Col d'Ez.
Yeah, punchy that. I wonder how many sprinters are going to be hauling themselves over the mountains just so that they can
Haul themselves over the mountains the
Yeah.
last couple of times, because the penultimate stage looks very mountainous as well, doesn't it?
Spicy, doesn't it? Yeah. Now, there is some good news from here in the UK about cycling, which is cool. In the city of London, which ironically actually refers to a small part of London in the middle of the bigger city. But anyway, that's just a random quirk of the UK. But apparently bikes now outnumber cars on the streets at peak times.
Which is an amazing result, isn't it, for a city that was completely, I would say, car-centric just a few years ago. Apparently, 40% of road traffic are cyclists and still 27% through the rest of the day as well.
Yeah. Now, we think it's because cycling is now cool.
What?
Yeah, according to the Barometer of Cool, GQ magazine Australia, cycling is cool again because it's had a style upgrade.
Well, I think that might be a bit of a stretch. You can make Lycra as jazzy as you like, but it's still Lycra.
Was that a joke? Stretch?
Yes,
Lycra?
yes it was. Thank you very much. We can now leave cycling shorts behind us with that stupendous joke.
We can't, I'm afraid. We can't leave it behind.
Right.
We need to correct the mistake
yes.
that you made in
Which
last
of the
week's show.
mistakes do we need to correct?
This one.
And documentaries for only £39.99 or $49.99 US a month. Oh, that one.
Yeah.
That was just a slight slip of the tongue on my part.
Well, would you like to correct it?
We probably should correct it, shouldn't we? I said 40 quid per month.
Yeah, you did.
For a GCN subscription, which of course was not correct. That is per year.
Yeah. Now, I don't know why, but someone has just provided us with 40 quid's worth of inner tubes. I think to prove a point.
away.
Yeah. I don't really see what the link is, to be honest with you, between GCN Plus and 12 inner tubes. There you
Well,
go.
we basically stated that the average cost per month, if you take out an annual subscription at £40, $50, or whatever your currency conversion is, it would be the equivalent of one standard inner tube per month. So I think someone's gone out and shown exactly what that looks like. Looks like more than 12.
Like if you look at one inner tube, you think, oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
13.
That'll save my ride. And then when you look at 13 inner tubes all in a row, you think, oh, that looks boring, don't you? Give me a subscription to GCN Plus any day.
Yeah, well worth taking out a GCN Plus subscription if you haven't done so already, because this coming Saturday, it's the first monument of the year, Milan-San Remo, and a race that we are able to show in all GCN Plus territories. So if you can subscribe, you'll be able to watch live coverage from start to finish, and it's your favourite race, isn't it?
It is. Controversially, I would say of all the races of the year, it's probably not the one you want to watch from start to finish. So my tip is to watch the breakaway, so pre-race show, get in the mood, watch the neutral zone, then go off and do something worthwhile. Every now and then check back in to GCN Plus to make sure that, nothing like untoward is happening, but just to keep the suspense going. And then boom, 1 hour to go. Clear your diary, sit down.
I'm
and
coming around to your
savour.
way of thinking. That
Yeah.
hour at the end of San Remo is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it's like an opera or like a work of art. You just like the tension builds up and up and up and up and up and up until eventually, boom! You get this incredible climax. Honestly, there is no bike race like it.
If we did it, we'd be building up and up and then boom.
Yeah.
Out the back. Anyway, yes, hopefully if you are watching on Saturday, you will enjoy it as much as I know I will. Bright and early the start, 8:45 UK time for the start of the breakaway on Saturday, so hopefully you will join us then.
Yeah. I've just been checking which ones are the long valve ones.
Are you taking them out?
I'm going to keep those if that's all right.
Well, let the rest.
Yeah. It's time now for Caption Competition, that part of the show where you get a chance to get your hands on a coveted GCN Elite water bottle. All you got to do is put a witty caption in the comment section down below, and we'll pick our favourite next week. It's got to relate to a photo, by the way. You can't just put any old caption in. That doesn't work. Anyway, results time first.
Yeah, this is the picture we gave you last week, and the winner is Jeremy Pritchard, who put Caption Competition. No wonder Jumbo-Visma are doing so well. You can clearly see they're riding e-bikes.
Genius. And I've just been admitting to Dan, I actually have never really twigged that the Velo logo is an E. I feel like that's a fairly intrinsic bit of like bike geekery that I should have known. But
Well, I did know that for obvious reasons.
well, you got paid to know stuff like that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Who was that for again?
For Cervelo.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough.
Right, so well done, Jeremy. Get in touch on Facebook, send us your address, we'll get a bottle out to you. This week's photo is Tadej Pogacar on the final stage of Paris-Nice and his celebration. Si's going to get you started.
Am I?
You chose it. Crikey. I mean, that
Try
doesn't
and write
really
that down.
translate to written captions, does it?
It does look a bit like that though, doesn't it?
Let us know your captions in the comment
indigestion.
section down below. We'll pick a winner this time next week. We will shortly tell you what we've got coming up on GCN over the next 7 days, but first up, a few comments from last week's videos, starting with these that came under the show. First up from Matt Vine, who said, I like to default to what Adam Savage says about buying tools. Get the cheapest one you can use, get the cheapest one you can, and then use it until it breaks, then get the best one that you can afford.
I love this. I'd actually not heard it before, but I think that's genius. That is such a good, and maybe that's true for our lead story about is your bike too fast for you? So first of all, you just buy a cheap bike, use it till it breaks, and then you buy the best one you afford. So everybody, whether you're Elon Musk or, whatever, you've got to have a cheap bike to start with.
Yeah, that could work, couldn't it?
It could work, yeah.
Although, in contradiction to that, Charlie the dog wrote in saying, I had a floor pump from Walmart that was probably $15. I bought it in 2012 and just replaced it a few months ago. It wasn't nice, but it outlasted several bikes. Depends on the tool, doesn't it? I mean, if you get a cheap pump and it lasts for a long time, then you're quids in, aren't you?
You are. And I have had many, many cheap pumps over the years, but now I've got nice ones. I wouldn't want to go back.
No.
Because it's one of the most irritating things, faffing around with a crap pump, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, but equally, you use what you can, don't you, basically? And they all work in the end. They should do anyway.
Yeah, at least you don't have to use a mini pump.
That's true.
At home.
I just bought some coffee scales off Amazon, right? And I didn't want to spend loads of money on coffee scales because I don't need to.
Just bought scales, did you?
No, but I bought some that cost $9.99,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things where I'm now going like, are they going to be totally crap, or are they like the 2,000 reviews that say they're actually good? But I don't know. So it's basically like the equivalent of buying a track pump, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll let you know next week
Yeah,
whether
keep
my
us
new
updated,
scales are any good or not. But yeah. They're accurate to 0.1 grams, apparently, although one review said they're out by 0.2 grams.
Oh, dear.
But I don't think I need that level of accuracy in my coffee. But anyway, there we go. That's
Thomas
a bit of GCN
Hill.
gold that will never see the light of day.
Yeah, Thomas Hill, meanwhile, said, I found GCN in 2020 during the pandemic. Back then, Si was the last to get his Castelli kit. As we approach the 3-year anniversary, Si not getting those rad t-shirts, La Primavera, is familiar and comforting. Thank you, GCN, you always make me smile.
I don't think Dan's taken that t-shirt off since he got given it, or
Is that
since Strada Bianca.
Based on what you've seen or based on what you can smell?
Bit of both.
Bit of both, yes. Well, anyway, fresh ones are available to purchase at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com.
With your insider knowledge of the amazing t-shirts that will find their way onto shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com, what's coming next? Have we got like northern plasticky type
We
ones?
do. We have Deronda,
Yeah,
Hell of the North,
yeah.
La Doyenne, I think are the
Oh,
next
nice.
three. Yeah. In
I'm
line
not-
with the monuments.
Not entirely sure how I feel about wearing a t-shirt that says old lady on it. Isn't that what La Doyenne means?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, there we go. Each their own, I guess. Blooming good bike race. I bet it looked
It
cool.
is. Yeah, we've got some fantastic bike racing on the horizon.
Yeah. Right. How to prevent a sore bum from cycling. Roger Simmons said, I found putting a saddle onto the seat post helped.
Very
Good for
good.
power transfer though, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, let's not go there.
Whilst under Berlin Challenge, we had this from Greg Vasilakos. I admire Hank's tram track bunny hop at 5 minutes 45 in. We relive that moment.
Pressure bunny hop there. Always that moment where you think, don't f it up now. But invariably that's the moment you do. Under can we eat 7,000 calories in one ride? Adam Wallace said, I humbly volunteer for the sequel to this, in which an amateur tries the same and shows these retired pros what the common man can do. I like that very much. That's cool. To be fair, if you could out-eat Connor Dunn, then I would be impressed, because that guy puts it away. He came and sat down next to me, right? And brought out a massive pot of yogurt, 500 gram pot of yogurt, and I was expecting him to have like a few spoonfuls and then put it away and save it for another day. He machined the whole lot, and it was just part of his lunch.
Part of his
lunch was a 500 gram pot of plain yogurt. Never seen anything like it.
Right, what have we got coming up for you? Well, On Wednesday, signs you are a cycling snob. Very linked
yeah.
to the lead story from today's show. I will also have our Milano Sanremo preview show out for you by Wednesday at the latest. That'll be over on GCN Racing.
That's right. Then on Thursday, how to ride 100 miles. That'll be a good one. Friday, speaking of Sanremo, actually, as we were, Connor and Manon were out there last week experimenting with dropper seat posts. You remember in the finale last year, Matej Mohoric deployed a dropper post with devastating effect. Yeah. So Connor went to see what all the fuss was about.
Later changing that he'd destroyed cycling.
Yeah. Pretty glad he didn't.
Yeah, me too.
Then on Saturday, this one is super cool. Campagnolo, for those that know, will appreciate how influential they've been in cycling. For those that don't know, watch on Saturday as well, because this is all about some of the utterly game-changing products that they have brought cycling. And truly, they have been, haven't they?
Well, yeah, derailleur to start with.
Yeah, that's a big one. Quick release. Although, ironically, that's kind of gone again now. But anyway, there we go. And then Sunday, sticking with the vintage theme actually, how fast is a vintage superbike compared to a modern cheap bike?
Wow.
Has tech trickled down that far that we're now riding bikes better than those that Eddie Merckx was riding?
Well, I shall be interested in watching that. Right, I think that wraps up this week's GCN Show.
I think it does, doesn't it, really?
It does.
We've
Thank you
rambled
very
on long
much
enough.
for watching. If you've got through to the end, congratulations. Why are you here?
That's a good point.
We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Yeah.